Stop. Don't scroll past this moment. The fact that you are reading these words right now, at this exact second, is not random chance or simple coincidence. Heaven has orchestrated this divine encounter with precision that would humble the greatest minds. Your finger hovering over the screen, the breath moving through your lungs, the inexplicable pull that made you pause here in this fragment of eternity, all of it was arranged before the foundations of the world were laid. You are meant to find this message now, in this kairos moment where time itself bends and the supernatural intersects with the natural. Something monumental is shifting in the unseen realms. 7 days ago, a scroll was unfurled in the throne room of heaven. Written across it in letters that burn without consuming, in ink made from light itself, was your name. Not just your earthly name, but your heavenly name, the name spoken over you before you drew your first breath. Angels stopped mid-flight when it was read aloud. The Ancient of Days leaned forward from his throne. A decree was issued, stamped with the seal of eternity, and that decree carries a timeline. 7 days. This is not metaphorical. This is not symbolic language dressed up to sound spiritual. This is literal divine intervention with a countdown that has already begun. Do not close this message. If you scroll away now, you will miss the most critical intersection your soul has encountered in years, perhaps in your entire lifetime. This is divine interruption, and it carries the weight of kingdoms. The enemy of your soul knows you are reading this right now. At this very moment, forces of darkness are in emergency session because they understand something you don't yet fully comprehend, that this message contains activation codes for breakthrough, that the next 7 days represent a window of opportunity so rare, so powerful, that missing it would cost you years of progress. They cannot stop what has been set in motion, but they will try to distract you, discourage you, make you dismiss this as just another video. Press the like button right now, not for me, not for the algorithm, but as a declaration to the heavenly realm that you are open, that you are listening, that you choose to engage with what heaven is releasing over your life in these next 7 days. Within the next 168 hours, 7 complete rotations of the earth, the celestial alignment that made this moment possible will shift. Windows open today will begin to close. Doors swinging wide right now will start to narrow. But right now, in this present moment, the door is fully open. Your response in the next few minutes will determine whether you step through into your destiny or watch it close while you stand on the wrong side. I see you, not with human eyes clouded by judgment, but with heaven's vision that penetrates past your masks and defenses. I see the weight you have been carrying like armor you cannot remove. I see the exhaustion that has become so familiar you have stopped calling it by its name. You have normalized bone-deep weariness, mornings when opening your eyes feels like lifting mountains, nights when sleep brings no rest because your mind catalogs failures and fears without mercy, replaying every mistake on an endless loop. You have smiled through pain that would shatter others. You have stood tall while your soul was collapsing from the inside out. You have served and given until your reserves ran completely dry, then somehow found more to give because that is who you are. Heaven has watched every single moment. Every tear that fell in the darkness of your room has been collected in bottles. Every prayer whispered in desperation has been recorded in the books. Every time you wanted to quit but chose to continue, angels took note and reinforced your position. But here is what heaven is revealing to you right now. Your strength has become your prison. The resilience that carried you through previous storms is now the wall keeping you from rest. You have taught yourself to survive on empty, to function in perpetual deficit. You have learned to live with warning lights flashing on your dashboard, telling yourself you will deal with it when things slow down. But things never slow down, do they? The enemy has studied your patterns with the precision of a predator. He knows you will not stop yourself. He knows you will push through pain, ignore symptoms, override your body's distress signals. So he is content to let you run yourself into the ground until your physical body makes the decision your iron will refuses to make. I know about the 3 a.m. conversations you have with yourself when all defenses are down. The questions you would never speak aloud to another soul. Am I enough? Did I make the right choices? Is this all there is to my life? Have I wasted the best years chasing things that don't matter? You replay conversations from years ago, searching for the exact moment things shifted, trying to pinpoint when the light in your eyes started to dim. That voice telling you that you're falling behind, that everyone else has figured out something you are missing, that success and blessing have passed you by while you were not looking. That voice is a liar from hell, and in the next 7 days, heaven is about to prove it with evidence so tangible you will never doubt again. Do you remember who you were before the weight settled on your shoulders? Before disappointment taught you to lower expectations to protect yourself from more pain? Before betrayal taught you to guard your heart like a fortress with walls so high even God struggles to get through sometimes? There was a time when you moved through the world with lightness in your spirit, when possibility felt closer than fear, when you believed prayers got answered and dreams came true. That version of you is not dead. It is buried under layers of disappointment, grief, and learned helplessness. And heaven is saying that in these next 7 days, it is time to excavate, to dig through the rubble and recover what you thought was lost forever. The prayers you stopped praying because you decided God was not listening, or worse, that He was listening but saying no to you specifically. He heard every single one. The dreams you released because they seemed impossible, because holding on to them hurt too much. He has kept them in a vault of divine intention. The promises you stopped believing because the wait grew too long, because hope deferred made your heart sick. The harvest has been delayed, not denied, and the delay was purposeful, strategic, necessary, because what is coming in these next 7 days requires a version of you that only this season of testing could produce. I know about the relationships that ended not in explosive arguments but in silence heavier than any words could carry. The friendships that dissolved slowly, like colors bleeding from fabric washed too many times until nothing vibrant remains. I know about the family dynamics that drain you, where every gathering requires emotional armor, where you perform a version of yourself that keeps peace but costs you authenticity and leaves you exhausted for days afterward. I know about the loneliness that lives in rooms crowded with people, the isolation that comes not from being alone but from being surrounded, yet not truly known, not truly seen, not truly understood. You have mastered the art of being present while absent, of occupying space while your spirit is miles away seeking somewhere safe to land. I know about the financial pressure that has become white noise humming in the background of every decision you make, the constant calculations before you agree to anything. Can I afford this? Not just in money, but in time, in energy, in emotional bandwidth that is already overdrawn. The way you have taught yourself to want less, need less, expect less, because wanting and needing have only led to disappointment dressed up as character-building life lessons. The credit card balances you have been trying to pay down for what feels like centuries. The unexpected expenses that always hit at the worst possible moment, right when you are finally making progress. The feeling that no matter how hard you work, how much you sacrifice, how responsible you are always one emergency away from complete crisis. That season is ending. In 7 days, you will see the first evidence. What is coming will shift not just your bank account balance, but your entire relationship with provision itself, with abundance, with the God who owns cattle on 1,000 hills, but sometimes seems stingy with His children who are struggling. I know about the health concerns you have minimized, symptoms you have explained away to avoid confronting scary possibilities, doctor appointments you have postponed because you do not have time or money or emotional energy to deal with one more thing, pain you have learned to function through because stopping is not an option when people depend on you, exhaustion that goes beyond tired, that sleep does not touch, that rest does not restore. The body that used to recover quickly now takes days or weeks to bounce back from exertion that used to be routine. Heaven sees it all. Every symptom you have dismissed, every pain you have pushed through, every night you could not sleep, every morning you could barely function. And what you are reading is not theory or theology or positive thinking dressed in religious language. This is an intervention, divine, strategic, precisely timed intervention. The throne room of heaven is more active on your behalf right now than your finite mind can comprehend. At this very moment, as you read these words, angelic forces are being dispatched in concrete, reality-shifting ways. Warrior angels are taking positions around your household, establishing a perimeter that demonic forces cannot penetrate. Ministering angels are being assigned to your daily path, orchestrating divine appointments that will look like coincidences until you see the pattern. Angels who specialize in restoration are hovering over the broken pieces of your life, receiving detailed instruction on reconstruction, on how to put back together what the enemy shattered. This is not religious fantasy or metaphorical imagery. This is heaven's mechanics responding in real time to a soul that has reached the edge of its natural capacity. The Ancient of Days is standing understanding. Think about that. The one who sits enthroned above the circle of the earth, who measures oceans in the hollow of his hand, who calls stars by name and not one is missing, he is rising from his seat because of you, not despite your weakness, but because of it. Your breaking point has become his intervention point. The place where your strength ends is precisely where his strength begins to manifest in ways that will leave absolutely no doubt about who orchestrated what comes next. In the realm beyond natural perception, beyond what your five senses can detect, books are being opened, not books of condemnation or judgment, but books of destiny. Pages that were sealed until the appointed time are being turned with reverence by hands that shaped galaxies from nothing. What was written about your life before you drew first breath is being activated right now. Promises that were held in reserve during your preparation season are being released like water from a dam that has held back pressure for too long. Resources that heaven stationed for this exact 7-day window are being mobilized like an army responding to a trumpet call. The atmosphere around you is shimmering, vibrating at a frequency that if you could see into the spirit realm would take your breath away. The invisible membrane between natural and supernatural is thinning over your life like a curtain being pulled back by unseen hands. What used to require years of persistent prayer to break through is now accessible in moments because heaven has declared this a season of acceleration specifically for you. Time itself is bending around you like light bending around a star's gravity. What should take 12 months will take 12 weeks. What should take 12 weeks will take 12 days. What should take 12 days will take just 7. This is not hyperbole or exaggeration for dramatic effect. This is prophetic mathematics, divine compression of duration that defies natural laws because supernatural laws are superseding them. Can you see the scroll I mentioned at the beginning? It is being carried through the throne room right now by an angel whose wings span wider than city blocks, whose presence radiates light that would blind human eyes. The scroll is not made of paper or parchment. It is made of condensed light, of captured glory, of materialized sound waves from the voice of God, and written on it in script that shifts and moves like living water are decrees about your life. Not suggestions, not possibilities, not things that might happen if conditions align. Decrees. Within 7 days, breakthrough. Within 7 days, restoration. Within 7 days, vindication. Within 7 days, provision. Within 7 days, healing. Within 7 days, clarity. Within 7 days, transformation that will make you look back at today and recognize it as the hinge point where everything changed. There are angels whose sole assignment for the next 7 days is you and you alone. They have been briefed on your history, your struggles, your calling, your destiny. One specializes in divine appointments, in orchestrating meetings and encounters that look coincidental but are strategically planned down to the minute. Another specializes in restoration, in piecing back together what has been broken, but not just putting it back to original condition, upgrading it, making it better than before, beauty for ashes taken literally. Another angel specializes in protection, in creating barriers around you that dark forces cannot penetrate no matter how hard they try, in deflecting attacks before they reach you, in neutralizing schemes before they fully form. 7 is the number heaven is highlighting for your life right now. Not 6, not 8, but 7. The number of completion, of perfection, of divine timing. Within 7 days, you will see the first tremor of what has been set in motion. It will not be loud or dramatic at first. Breakthrough rarely announces itself with trumpets and fanfare at the beginning. It starts as a slight shift, a small opening, a conversation that seemed random but was orchestrated from heaven. An idea that drops into your mind with clarity you have not felt in months. A phone call you were not expecting. A door that cracks open just enough for you to peek through and see what is on the other side. Pay attention. The supernatural often disguises itself as coincidence until you zoom out far enough to see the pattern, to connect the dots, to recognize the fingerprints of God all over what is unfolding. Within 7 days, your circumstances will have shifted enough that you will look back at this moment, at this message, at this decision to stay and listen, and you will recognize it as a divine appointment that changed the trajectory of your entire life. Here is what is coming in the next 7 days. I am not speaking in vague generalities or safe predictions that could apply to anyone. These are specific words for specific people reading this right now. Financial pressure that has been building like steam in a pressure cooker is about to break. Not break you, but break off you. Within the next 72 hours, within 3 days, you will receive information. an opportunity, or a connection that carries the seed of significant increase. It might be as subtle as a casual conversation. It might be as unexpected as a phone call from someone you have not heard from in years. It might be as simple as an idea dropping into your mind with such clarity that you will know it did not originate from you. Do not dismiss it. Do not talk yourself out of it. Do not let logic and past disappointments convince you it is too good to be true. That is heaven moving. Before these 7 days conclude, you will see provision manifest in an amount that makes you catch your breath, that makes you sit down because your knees go weak. For some reading this, that number is $7,000. For others, it is $14,000. For others still, it is not a lump sum, but a door opening to consistent flow, where there has been only trickle and strain, a stream that becomes a river that becomes a flood of provision that never runs dry again. Heaven knows your need. Not just the number on the bill or the balance on the statement, but the why behind it. The places where lack has taught you lies about your worth, about your Father's nature, about whether you matter to God. Job offers coming from completely unexpected sources, from connections you thought were dead, from industries you had not considered, from opportunities that seemed permanently closed, debt being canceled through supernatural intervention that has no natural explanation, refunds appearing for things you wrote off years ago. Payments being forgiven by people who have no logical reason to forgive them. Interest being wiped clean through errors that work in your favor for once. For those in business, you are about to land a client or secure a contract that seemed completely out of reach. The one you had stopped praying about because it felt impossible, because every attempt had failed, because you had convinced yourself it was not God's will. It is, and it is coming within 7 days. Your health, the area where you have felt most vulnerable, most afraid, most out of control, is about to experience divine intervention. That symptom that has worried you, that pain that has persisted despite treatment, that diagnosis that terrified you, it is being addressed in the unseen realm before it fully manifests in the seen. Healing has already begun at the cellular level, at the spiritual level, at the level where sickness first takes root. And within 7 days, it will become evident at the physical level in ways you can measure and document. Within 7 days, you will notice a shift, energy returning when you thought chronic fatigue was your new normal, strength rebuilding in muscles that have been weak, clarity replacing the fog that has clouded your thinking, pain diminishing that has been your constant companion. Press the like button again right now. This time, it is not just engagement. This is spiritual warfare. When you press that button, you are making a declaration that you receive the healing. You activate the angelic assignment over your health. You stand in agreement with what heaven is declaring over your physical body. Your participation matters. Your agreement unlocks things in the spirit realm. Your adversary is more aware of this 7-day window than you are. He knows what you are on the verge of, and in desperation, he is going to attempt one final push to take you out, or at minimum distract you so you miss it. In the next 48 hours, expect opposition. It might look like sudden conflict erupting out of nowhere, a financial blow that hits without warning, a health crisis that terrifies you, emotional collapse that makes you question everything, technology failing when you need it most, misunderstandings multiplying faster than you can address them. But hear this with your spirit. It is not what it appears to be. It is death throes of a defeated enemy throwing everything left because his time is up and he knows it. When that attack comes, and it will come, do not interpret it as God abandoning you or this message being false. Interpret it as proof positive that you are on the right track. The closer you get to breakthrough, the more desperate and chaotic the opposition becomes. The intensity of the attack is directly proportional to the significance of what you are about to step into. So when warfare intensifies, do not retreat, do not shrink back, do not hide, advance. The breakthrough is on the other side of this last push. Angelic protection has been doubled, tripled around you for this exact reason. Heaven has assigned warrior angels to your front, your back, your left, your right. These are not cherubic figures from greeting cards or children's storybooks. These are warriors who have been in combat since before time began. They do not lose. They do not tire. They do not negotiate. They do not compromise. And they are assigned specifically to you for these 7 days. Now hear your activation instructions. These are not suggestions. These are keys to unlock what heaven has already prepared and positioned for release. First, speak this aloud right now. Your voice carries authority that silent agreement does not. Say this: I receive everything heaven is releasing over my life in these 7 days. I break agreement with exhaustion, fear, delay, and defeat. I step into my season of unprecedented breakthrough. I align my spirit with divine timing and divine strategy. I am protected by the blood of Jesus. I am surrounded by warrior angels. I am walking in divine favor. What was impossible yesterday becomes possible today. In Jesus' name, amen. Say it out loud. Do not just read it, speak it. Your voice activates things in the spirit realm that thought cannot. Second, within the next 3 hours, remove one thing from your environment that represents the old season, the old struggle, or the old identity. It might be a physical object you have held onto. It might be a number in your phone you know you need to delete. It might be access to something that feeds distraction rather than destiny. It might be a subscription, a habit, a pattern. The act of removal is prophetic. It creates space for what is coming. It signals to heaven that you are serious. Third, before you sleep tonight, write down 3 specific things you are asking heaven to do in the next 7 days. Not vague requests like bless me or help me. Specific, measurable, clear asks. Exact dollar amounts if it is financial. Specific names if it is relational. Particular symptoms if it is health. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. Substance requires specificity. Write it down. Date it. Put it somewhere you will see it every day for the next 7 days. Fourth, share this message with 3 people within 24 hours. Your breakthrough is connected to someone else's breakthrough. You are the answer to someone's prayer, and they are the answer to yours. When you share what heaven is releasing, when you become a conduit instead of just a container, you activate the law of multiplication over your own life. Fifth, if you have the means, sow a seed into kingdom work within the next 72 hours while this window is wide open. Let it be an amount that requires faith, not just excess. When you sow in sacred seasons, when you give during 7-day windows that heaven has ordained, you are sowing into the realm of the Spirit, and heaven honors that with disproportionate return that makes no natural sense. Click Super Thanks on this video, or find a ministry that is impacting lives and sow there. Whatever you do, let it be an act of worship, not obligation. Now receive this closing blessing over your life. You are stepping into favor that makes no natural sense. Resources you did not earn are about to find you. Relationships you did not orchestrate are about to form. Doors you did not knock on are about to swing open. Healing you did not manufacture is about to manifest. Within the next 7 days, you will see tangible proof that this was not just religious talk or empty promises, but prophetic download from the realm of the Spirit. Your health is being restored at levels deeper than medicine can reach. Your mind is being renewed with clarity that cuts through confusion like a sword. Your finances are being restructured under divine economics that laugh at inflation, recession, and market crashes. Your relationships are being recalibrated under heaven's original design. Before these 7 days conclude, you will have tangible, measurable, documentable evidence that everything spoken here was truth, not theory. Comment the number 777 below right now as your agreement with heaven's release. When you type those numbers, you are entering into covenant with the God who cannot lie, who watches over his word to perform it. You are saying, I receive, I believe, I activate, and heaven is responding. Granted, sealed, established. If this message resonated in your spirit, if something inside you bore witness, press the like button one more time. Not as repetition, but as your seal, your amen. In biblical culture, repeated action was confirmation. Let your second like be your agreement with everything heaven has declared over these 7 days. Then share this with someone whose face appeared in your mind while reading. That is not random. That is divine assignment. They need this message as much as you do. For those who can sow financially, click Super Thanks right now. Let your seed be your stake in the ground, declaring, I am partnering with what heaven is doing. I am not just a consumer of content. I am a co-laborer in the harvest. Watch what heaven does when you move from passive reception to active participation. Blessing does not just chase the hearers, it overtakes the doers. Go now with confidence that you did not stumble upon this message by accident. This message was waiting for you. The God who knows the number of your days positioned you here at this exact moment because what comes next in these 7 days requires you to know what heaven is saying. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not disqualified by your past. You are chosen, called, and about to walk into the fullness of what that means. Heaven is cheering. Angels are ready. Your 7 days have begun. This is your moment. This is your season. This is your window. Do not miss it.